G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. And let me check. Live. No, it's just recording. Yesterday was very funny, man. Very funny. And I do apologize to anyone who saw me at the very beginning, clear my throat and whatnot. And I had to delete that video real fast because I don't want you to see that side of me, breaking the fourth wall and stuff like that, right? But I had no idea that it was live until I saw in the bottom left hand side of my screen the counter going from 1 to 20, and we almost had like 30 people. So shout out to every single one of you who was in the video yesterday. Shows you how great the support is for this channel and for what I'm trying to build. Now, speaking of this channel, we are sitting at 1,249 subs. If you are new to this content or you've been watching this content and you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to this channel and make it 1,250. That would be freaking awesome to see. Now, in today's episode, I kind of wanted to summarize a few things that's been happening in the offseason during the free agent period and maybe what it means for the Steelers heading into the draft. Remember, in this draft, it's really like Omar Khan's and I guess Andy Weidl's first one, together. But Omar Khan's really taken over, man. Taken over the team in the roster, and they're letting them cook. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this saying. The saying is to cook with gas, or that guy's cooking with gas. Now, I've titled this video, "The Steelers are cooking with gas." Basically means they're doing really good things. I don't know if that's an Australian saying or if it's a worldwide saying, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are cooking with gas. And that means they're doing everything on point. It's all happening. Now, in this video, I will be looking at BTSC, the website there. So I used to work for those fellas on their podcast called the Steel Curtain Network. But I wanted to bring up some of the players that we've signed and just go through the list again, because this is, to me, we can't really overlook it because this has been the offseason. The offseason has been quite crazy, right? Going to go through the list and see what's happening because the Pittsburgh Steelers are cooking with gas. Now, as we go through, here we go. I actually had the definition is like from Webster's Dictionary or Cambridge University Press and Assessment to make very good progress and do something very well. I can see we're really cooking with gas now, right? So we've jumped 2 places in this league in the year. So yeah, let me know if that's like an American thing too. I don't know if it's an Australian thing. I think it's a worldwide thing. So, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are cooking with gas. Now, I will share this link in the description below. It's from BTSC. Who's writing this at the moment? Our mate Jeff Hartman. You know him from the Steel Curtain Network, and he does the podcast with Let's Ride. So he's fantastic. And they're keeping track on what's going on. And there's been so much. Been a lot of turnover, and there've been a lot of additions coming into the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Now, we go back to the Steelers, unrestricted free agents, the guys we thought who's going to stay, who's going to go. It would be interesting to find out if I got, a few right and a few wrong. I definitely got Robert Spillane wrong. I got Cameron Sutton wrong. I definitely got Terrell Edmonds wrong, right? If we go down the list, first of all, one of the moves that the Steelers have made is signing Larry Ogunjobi on the defensive line, signing a 3-year contract. That was fantastic. Mason Rudolph, nothing really happening yet. Could he still be a Steeler at the 3rd? We don't know. Could he go and find another team? Could he play for the Ravens? They need a quarterback over that way. And by the way, I project the Ravens are going to come 4th in our division this year. Almost lost me coke there. I'm having a blunder every day. If you go down the list too, Devin Bush, we all knew he was going to sign. He signed with the Seattle Seahawks for like a 1-year deal. Robert Spillane was a shock to me. Signed 2 years with Vegas, right? So best of luck to Robert Spillane out that way. But I think we play the Raiders this year. Cameron Sutton signed a deal with the Lions, so shout out to the Lions there, and I hope you can have a good career that way. But there's no more Sutton. Now, a few of them are left over. Derek Watt. Let's just have a little bit of a sidetrack here. What is happening with Derek Watt? What is what? I don't know what the Steelers are going to do. If they wanted a fullback like Derek Watt again, and he played pretty good last year. He ran the ball 6 times and he got 5 first downs. And they were using him more than they did in 2021. What is happening with Derek Watt? Do the Steelers sign him at fullback, or are they going to find an undrafted guy? I don't think they're going to draft a fullback. Do they get like a free agent coming in to be fullback? Are they okay with Connor Hayward being fullback there and, get another tight end maybe possibly? You have Gentry. Do they use one of the big offensive linemen like Herbig, Dotson, Kendrick Green if he sticks around, if he's not cut? Do they use someone like that at fullback in those situations? Do they need a traditional fullback in this system? That's a question I want you guys to think about. Now, going back to this list, where are you? Keep cooking with gas. Tyson Alualu, definitely, he's retired. So shout out to him, man. Had like a 15-year career. Marcus Allen, I think I saw in the news. Okay, another sidetrack. I saw in the news, I think yesterday, Marcus Allen attended a broadcast camp. I believe that Shazier did as well. So I don't know if that means like they're training to be broadcasters and at like ESPN or NFL. Maybe I can go down there one day and get a job too. That'd be cool. But I saw Shazier went to a broadcast camp, which is like maybe learning skills, how to be a better presenter on the television. So is Marcus Allen going to go in that role? I don't know. Will he become a Pittsburgh Steeler? At this point, I don't think so. Now, Terrell Edmonds, we all know we wanted to sign him back at a 1-year contract, but he went to the Eagles. Malik Reed was probably good as gone. He's with the Dolphins for 1 year. Not too much loss there. Chris Wormley, I think he's still injured. I doubt with all the defensive line help they've acquired over the last few weeks, I doubt he's going to stay. DeMonte Kazi signed a 2-year contract playing safety, right? So he'll be back there, I guess, with Minka playing safety. And Neal will play like Terrell Edmonds' role, middle linebacker. That's gonna happen, right? Now, Trent Scott signed with the Commanders, or he's more depth, but the Steelers went and got Herbig and Ciamalo. That's not too bad. Carl Joseph, I don't think he'll be back. Miles Boykin's an interesting one, though. Another sidetrack. Miles Boykin here is another interesting one. He was like their third or fourth receiver last year. Wasn't targeted too much, but more or less he was playing gunner quite a lot, pretty much every play on this team. And the Steelers need those positions that you kind of forget about playing gunner. So to see him not been signed yet, do the Steelers get a guy in the draft or another free agent to come in and fill that role? You need someone to run down the field and make tackles, and that's what Miles Boykin was doing, right? So that's pretty interesting there. Moving on down the list, Steven Sims, which I thought he would have came back, signed a 1-year deal with the Texans, so we haven't got a returner now. Benny Snell, there's been no talk about bringing back Benny Snell, and I've talked about this before. I think they might go into the draft, or they might use McFarland, or Master Teague might step up and play that third down running back. Zach Gentry signed a 1-year deal, which is fantastic. I think he's a good blocker, and this team is getting bigger and more physical up front. Anthony Miller signed a 1-year contract. Christian Kuntz as well, 1 year. James Pierre, 1 year. So that was pretty much all expected. Now, restricted free agents. JC Hassanow signed with the Giants. We had Jameer Jones sign a 1-year contract as well. He's more depth. Will he even make the team? We don't know just yet. They had Bud visiting, right? And here's the fun part. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I counted, and they've left one list, which was yesterday. They left off, it hasn't been updated just yet. They left off Watts, right? The Steelers have signed Watts as well, Armand Watts. Now, with this list, I believe there is about 13 players. I think like 13 players or 12 players or something like that, or 11 players, whatever it is, they've signed, right? Peterson to a 2-year deal, cornerback. Kazi signed his 2-year deal. Nate Herbig, 2-year deal. Larry Ogunjobi, he's all involved in it. Cole Holcomb, and Elandon Roberts, 2 middle linebackers, a 3-year and a 2-year deal. Isaac Ciamalo, the Raven Clark, Keanu Neal, Braden Fahoko, and Watts, right? Defensive tackle Watts. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think 9 players. 9 players and about 10 and 11, 12 signings. So it is crazy what's going on right now. It is fantastic. That's a pretty much good summary of what's going on in Steeler Nation. But I tell you what, Steeler Nation. Let me know in the comments below if you made it this far. Are you happy with this? I am. I get this feeling that there is something about this team that is just different from 2 or 3 years ago. Okay. They got rid of my favorite player, Claypool. And I liked him the first year, then I just couldn't stand him the next point. Right? There's no real drama right now. This team is going to be led by Kenny Pickett. I believe he might get the C on his chest. I believe they'll give or possibly they'll give it back to Najee again. I don't think they'll give the C to Trubisky. But I like what Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, Mike Tomlin, the Rooneys, what everyone's doing, right? Mike Tomlin's running around with all the crew and they're checking out prospects as they do. That's their job. That is fantastic. Kenny Pickett's grabbing all his receivers and even throwing to college stars and working every day. That is great to see. As a fan, to know that your team's doing all these things and, guys like Nate Herbig are excited to come here. Keanu Neal's excited to come here and play. He's been to a Super Bowl. They're getting some veterans like that. They signed Kazi again. Those dudes, if they can stay healthy, if the Steelers can then make future moves like extend Highsmith, give him a contract, this team is heading in the right direction to get back to playoff football, and I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that Steelers are heading in that right direction to play playoff football again and try and win because they have such a young team right now. On the offensive line, I believe that Mason Cole will be there at center. I believe Ciamale will be left guard. I actually believe Dotson will still be there depending in the draft, right? But I feel like they're getting their core guys, their offensive guys. They're all physical. They're hungry. They're ready to play. The thing is, though, we've got to wait until training camp and until preseason to see them play, to see how fired up they are. But on paper right now, this has been fantastic. And I like the way they're bringing all these new guys in to develop back that steel attitude, that steel curtain attitude, Blitzburgh and smash mouth football. That's what I really like, Steeler Nation. I think it's awesome. And I think it's all led by, the leaders are like Minka. He's such a veteran guy in that locker room. He could go on to have a Hall of Fame career. Cameron Hayward, he's a Hall of Famer in the making. I hope we can get him a few playoff wins. I hope we can get him a Super Bowl. TJ Watt is also a future Hall of Famer too at that position. The up-and-coming guys like Highsmith, like those dudes there, like Najee Harris, the second-year player like Jalen Warren. These guys, I think, are hungry for the football. Fryermuth, it could be an outstanding player too. This team is building around itself something special. And I will say, though, I'm completely biased. But when you do look at them individually and how skillful the players are, like a Pickens, like DJ and his route running ability, like all that stuff, just fine-tune a few things, and we should be sweet. We should be sweet, Steeler Nation. So that's it for the today's video or this morning's video. I thank you guys for checking out Steelers Nation Australia. It is fantastic. So our latest edition was what? So, they're making moves, man. They've signed, I think, outside players from the organization, I think 9 or 10 players, and they've signed the ones they want to keep. They wanted to keep Kazi. They wanted to give it another shot to James Pierre. So there's a lot of, Steeler Nation, we're so focused now on the draft. We might bring in 7, 8 players for that. But the Steelers are turning so many different pieces around of this puzzle with players from who are free agents or players who they want to keep as Steelers. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're doing. The draft is coming up, but you look at this list and say, well, they've got Larry over 3 years. They got a good guard in Ciamale. They got Keanu Neal, a physical hitting safety and middle linebacker. He's played there before. Kazi, he's fun to watch too, man. Right? They're signing all these guys that are Steelers, and I think once they extend the hand out to Alex Highsmith, give him a contract extension, which should happen, this team has a bright future. Not only this year in 23, but 24 and 25, and Kenny can only get better. Alrighty, guys, I'll catch you later. That was a long one, 14 minutes in. Thank you for checking out Steelers Nation Australia, and I'll see you guys next time. As always, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.